Hello, and welcome to the ASDRP Researcher Interview Series. Today, I'll be talking with Pranav Prabisetty. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Yep, no problem. Happy to be here.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Well, to kick it off, I would love to hear about what got you started at ASDRP and how you found out about the organization.
I originally found out about it last year from a family friend who actually researched here for I think it was a year before he graduated.
Oh, very cool. Nice. So did you join last year? How long have you been with ASDRP?
I applied in winter and then I got accepted. So this is my first term here, summer of 2022. New researcher. Really excited to be here.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
What year in school are you?
I am a rising senior.
Nice. What high school?
I go to Dublin High. It's in the Bay Area.
Okay, very cool. Yes. Um, so you're just a brand new researcher coming on for the first time. That's awesome. Who's your advisor?
My advisor is Joseph Lorienzo.
Okay, cool. What research group is that a part of?
We're just part of the Lorienzo group, and we're like our own little group. We're part of the computer science and engineering department.
Okay, cool. What projects have you guys been working on?
So our group is working on one main project, and it's about self-organized mapping and how it can be applied to self-localization in mapping. And that's basically, just to put in layman's terms, using AI to help a robot kind of figure out where it is.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And how are you guys working on that? Do you have a robot that you're programming in the lab?
Yeah, we have a team dedicated to building a robot. We have a team dedicated to making data, and then we have a team that is developing an algorithm to work with the data team and try and develop a robust and cohesive algorithm that proves to be reliable in determining location.
Very cool. Which aspect are you working on?
So currently I'm working on data. I'm the team leader for our data team. And hopefully I can maybe try and dip my fingers in the mapping algorithm, but first I want to be grounded in the data team.
Mhm. What kind of data do you guys work with?
So the data that we are currently working with is most importantly 3D manifolds and also self-updating maps.
Okay. What is a 3D manifold?
A 3D manifold is just like a representation. It can be really any shape. I believe one of the most common 3D manifolds that are used in this field is a Swiss roll, and it's basically kind of like it's like a spiral. And I think that's the most commonly used manifold for our line of research.
Okay. And then how does that work together with the data? Like how would like a your average person visualize how you are using a 3D manifold?
So essentially, our 3D manifold is going to be, it's using AI. It's kind of sorted into different sectors, and it's kind of gonna organize itself into a sort of position that we want it to. And just these different manifolds are just different kind of test cases that we are using to see what our algorithm can handle, kind of.
Okay. So the robot looks at it and then figures out where it is in relation to that.
Kind of. It's
Okay.
kind of just like random examples for our algorithm to test on, so we can hopefully give it something completely new, and it would know how to kind of position itself.
Okay. Well, that's really fascinating stuff that you guys are working on. Um, in all that complexity, what has been one of the greatest challenges that you've encountered so far?
I think the greatest challenge has been the learning curve. obviously, I have never had any experience in this like kind of line of research. So learning about it, and also coupled with like the hands-off side from the advisors, so like beyond guidance and stuff, it's not like a class or anything, so it's really up to us to, it's kind of self-driven, and I think that coupled with the novelty of the field has been the hardest challenge.
Okay, interesting. So are you doing a lot of work outside of your time in the lab to like develop new ideas?
Yeah, I think since I'm still new, I think a lot of it is reading previously published papers, and trying to get up to speed with the coding skills and also the math skills involved with trying to program this kind of thing.
That makes sense. What has it been like working with your team? What is a day like in your lab?
I'd say a day would be, we have a meeting, maybe twice or three times a week, where we kind of present our findings, present our progress. And I think working with my team has been, really smooth. We work really well together. I think we're very cohesive.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. I also would love to know what has been one of the most rewarding things about researching here at ASDRP.
I think one of the most rewarding things has been the experience. This is my first time being really in like a professional research environment where we're treated as adults, and there's this all of this really high-end equipment that they have at ASDRP. And I'm really thankful that I can experience this because in college, research is a really big thing, and I think that this is a really helpful experience for me, so I can get kind of a feel for what it's like before I head off to college.
Definitely. Yeah, I can only imagine that would put you a step above other people coming in. What are your other, do you have any other research interests or things that you would like to explore in the future?
In the future, I definitely want to research artificial intelligence and machine learning more, just because I find these fields like really fascinating, and I just want to know, like, I want to be part of, like, just like a pioneering effort in discovering the limits of what a computer can really do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And jumping off of that, how do you see the research that you're currently doing? How do you see that that's applicable to kind of like real world issues? How would you connect that?
One really good example that my advisor gave me was the Mars rover. So
Mm.
our self mapping was used on the Mars rover because obviously there's no GPS on Mars. So the rover needs to know where it's been, where it is, where it's going, and it needs to store all of that. So I think that I think this has a very high use case in these kind of endeavors, like off planet, or also I think another very important one would be self-driving cars. Obviously, self-driving cars would need to know where they are in relation to its surroundings.
Mm. That makes sense. All right. And then my next question would be, do you feel as though your research has changed anything about the way you view the world?
My research has definitely changed my view of the world because I never knew I never knew like this kind of programming or this kind of machine learning was possible. I never knew that like this existed really before joining this research group, and I'm really thankful for that because this research group has taught me so much about like what robots can do, what we can teach robots to do, and it's taught me just a new field of AI that I just never knew existed.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Is there anything else that you'd like to share today? Any other fun stories or experiences that you've had? Or anything else you'd like to say?
I think one experience I'd like to share is just in our first meeting as a group. I feel like we bonded really well because a lot of us had shared interests, obviously since we're in the same group. But
Mhm.
I don't know, it's kind of nice. Uh, I guess connecting and getting to know other people who shared a lot of the interests that I had, and it's been a really fun, really good experience for me.
That's wonderful. All right, and my last question for you is, what advice would you give to a future researcher who's looking to join ASDRP?
My advice for future researchers is to have a very strong work ethic. ASDRP researchers and advisors, they're not going to give you homework. They're not going to give you structured assignments. So it's really on you to push yourself and have the drive to do what it takes to, get results and get just drive the research forward.
Awesome. That's great advice. Everybody has such a different answer to that question. And I love it because everybody can learn a little bit more
Yeah.
each time. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. What a wonderful interview. I love getting to know what you're researching and a little bit more about yourself and your experience.
Yep. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.